Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Tori Amos. Since I talked about Alanis Morissette, Fiona Apple, and Joanna Newsom on this channel, I've received a lot of requests also to check out Tori Amos, so today I'm going to react to her 1992 debut album, Little Earthquakes, and break down the album's lyrics. Before I dive in, let me know in the comments down below what Tori Amos album I should react to next. Check the description box for a link to a list of nonprofits you can donate to. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. Without further ado, track number 1 is Crucify.
Every finger in the room is pointing at me. I wanna spit in the face and get afraid of what that could bring. Figures that my courage would choose to sell out now. Looking for a savior beneath these dirty sheets. I've been raising up my hands, drop another nail in. Why do we crucify ourselves? Crucify myself.
Yeah, we're taught self-hate. Such a distinctive voice.
I gotta help myself the ring so that I can have my cross. I know you're just an empty cage, girl, if you kill the bird.
Wow. Oh, that was a great line.
I crucify myself. Nothing I do is good enough for you. Chains.
Okay, so Tori is talking about fighting this widespread societal compulsion to punish herself, right? When she says on the chorus, "Why do we crucify ourselves every day? I crucify myself, nothing I do is good enough for you." She's saying that not only she, but also everyone else is taught to punish and degrade and demean themselves for other people's approval. Because crucifixion is a punishment, but importantly, it's a public form of punishment. And public forms of punishment serve the dual functions of, first, of course, punishing the offender, and second, sending out a message to society. We do not approve of this offense. Let this compel you to conform. In that way, this song itself is a perfect complement to the act of crucifixion because instead of being a public act of destruction, it's a public act of creation that counteracts what Tori believes crucifixion embodies, which is the way that we are taught reflexive self-hatred. She says on the pre-chorus that she crucifies herself by looking for a savior under dirty sheets. She looks for people's approval through sex, and it makes her feel dirty or gross. And on the second verse, she has this great line where she's speaking to her cat, and the cat says, "You're just an empty cage, girl, if you kill the bird." To a house cat, a predator, a bird in a cage is a temptation, but also the image of the caged bird represents confinement. The cat is saying, if you free yourself of this repression by giving into your temptation, you will be empty. You'll have nothing left to work towards or to desire. This of course could mean many things, but to me it says that this system of self-hatred requires that the carrot of salvation stay dangling in front of us. Because if we're ever sated, we might be freed from our cages and then have less reason to conform. Track number 2 is Girl.
From the shadow she calls, and in the shadow she finds a way. Watching her faded photograph, my image under her thumb. Yeah, she's been everybody else's girl. Maybe one day she'll be alone.
This is very cool sounding. Look at an earthquake. Very imagistic lyrics, super cool. You know I'm a sucker for dramatic strings. Wow. Very cool track. I am very happy that you all recommended this album and Tori in general because that's definitely up my alley. So lyrically, it seems like one of the ways that society crucifies people is specifically through gender norms, and namely by repressing women. The song centers around this representative girl character, likely meant to be Tori herself, who lives in the shadows and wants to call out to someone, so basically we have marginalization conveyed visually. And on the chorus, still likely about herself, Tori says she's been everybody else's girl, maybe one day she'll be her own. This is another way of her, removing the nails from her hands and not martyring herself, but rather working to assert herself and be her own person. And this shakes things up. On the second verse, she says, "In the doorway they stay." I think they are meant to be like everyone else, society basically, and standing in the doorway is a common practice during earthquakes. So this is, from what I can tell, the first oblique appearance of the title, where the earthquake is the way that Tori, or this girl, is shaking the norm, asserting herself in a way that just might be earth-shifting. Track number 3 is Silent All These Years.
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while? My dog won't bite if you sit real still. Been saved again by the garbage truck. I got something to say, but nothing comes. What if I'm a mermaid in these jeans of hers with her name still on it? Sometimes I hear my voice and it's been silent all these years. So you found a girl who thinks really deep thoughts. What's so amazing about really deep thoughts?
Mood.
I think there's a heaven where some screams have gone. I got $25 and you crack up silent all these years go by. Will I still be waiting for the orange clouds raining in my head? Years goes by, will I choke on my tears? I do easy. I love the way we communicate. Your mother shows up in a nasty dress, and it's your turn now to stand where I stand. What if I'm a mermaid in these jeans of yours with her name still on it?
Okay, so the title of the song, of course, referred to her voice. She says on the chorus something along the lines of, "Sometimes I can hear my voice, and it's been silent all these years." And this feels like a direct continuation of the first two tracks, because on the opener, she realized that she was taught to hate and repress herself, then she identified why, and now she's exploring how it's affected her relationships. We have multiple instances of her struggling to be heard. On the first verse, she says, "I've got something to say, but nothing comes." And then on the second verse, she says, "My scream got lost in a paper cup. You think there's a heaven where some screams have gone?" The loss of her voice is a type of death, but it also relates to religious piety, because I almost read her screams going to heaven as a reward for her repression. She's expected to shut up, so she's rewarded for shutting up, but only in death, just like the martyrdom of crucifixion. She relates this to a romantic relationship when she mentions on the chorus wearing these jeans of his with her name still on it. This reminds me of the image of the dress from Fiona Apple's song Ladies. This man has a revolving door of women who can switch in and out of these clothes, this role, and are replaceable. So this is yet another way that Tori has been made to feel valueless. Track number 4 is Precious Things.
So I ran faster, but it caught me here, like my anger in seventh grade, running after the rain.
I like the breaths as percussion. Ooh.
These precious things, let them break. You said you were really an ugly girl, but I like the way you play. Wanna smash the faces of the beautiful boys.
Wow. Definitely a highlight for me. What a powerful track. It had the ominousness of Girl, but with even more force behind it. Just so great. So, in line with Tori's rejection of the strictures of organized religion and patriarchy, she wants to destroy precious things, things that she and other people might have held dear, might have thought were important, might have overvalued, and might have relied on. On the first verse, we see her running away, and on the second verse, we learn from what? She says, he said, "You're really an ugly girl, but I like the way you play." Just like the dirty sheets from the opener, she has this uncomfortable relationship with intimacy where it can gain her the approval of men, but only to a certain extent that doesn't encompass respect. And she says, pretty reasonably, that she wants to smash his face in. Someone get her the finishing mallet. Track number 5 is Winter.
Wipe my nose, get my new boots on. I put my hand in my father's glove. I hear a voice, you must learn to stand up. 'Cause I can't always be around. When you gonna love you as much as I do?
Oh, this is very sweet.
'Cause things are gonna change so fast. Until you don't always want you near, my dear.
Wow.
Boys get discovered as winter melts. Years go by and I'm here still waiting, skating around the truth who I am. When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause things are gonna change so fast.
Need a second. Do you ever, like, listen to a song and project, like, your own stuff onto it?
Horses are still in bed. Say that things change. When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause things are gonna change.
Well, that song was a dagger in the heart. You got me, Tori. So Tori is reflecting on her childhood and on a source of her fighting spirit, which seems to be her father. We start out the song with a young Tori and her father getting ready to brave the harsh weather together. She puts her hand in his, and he starts teaching her these lessons like self-love and fighting for herself. So we have this winter weather basically as a metaphor for the cold world, right? And these lessons that her father is teaching her are the things that will prepare her to fight against that cold weather, the harshness of the world. On the second verse, she says, "Boys get discovered as winter melts, flowers competing for the sun. Years go by and I'm still here waiting." As a woman, she has to advocate for herself. She can't just wait for the sun to shine on her. Just like her father said, she will have to stand up, and a way that she can do that is through self-love. So once again, we have the opener's message of self-respect running through these different dimensions of her life. Track number 6 is Happy Phantom.
And if I die today, I'll be the happy phantom. And I'll go chasing the nuns out in the yard. I'll wake up in strawberry fields every day. And the atrocities of school I can't forget. Woo-hoo, the time is getting closer. Woo-hoo, the time will be gone. The sun is getting dim. Will we pay for who we've been? And I'll go wearing my naughties like a Jew. There's Judy Garland taking Buddha by the hand. And then we seldom little men got to dance. I'm still the angel to a girl who hates to sin. Woo-hoo, the time is getting closer. Yeah.
Ooh.
Woo-hoo, every day we're getting closer. The sun is getting dim.
Pretty plucky for a song about mortality and religious paranoia. Okay, yeah. Definitely, tonally, and emotionally, a left turn, but very fun. So, two of Tori's preoccupations appear on this track. First, her desire for freedom, and second, her latent concern for judgment, specifically religious judgment. She opens the song by saying, "If I die today, I'll be the happy phantom," and goes on to describe the benefits, basically, of being a ghost. Chasing nuns, running naked, meeting dead celebrities, and it all sounds great and liberating until doubt creeps in. She says on the chorus, "The sun is getting dim, will I pay for who I've been?" And on the second verse, she says, "I'm still the angel to a girl who hates sin." She's been brought up, as she made clear on the opener, to fear God's judgment. She's tried to be good, whatever that means. So again, there's this sense that the only true liberation from these worries and expectations is death. Or glass half full, I guess. There is no life without doubt and pressure. Track number 7 is China.
All the way to New York. You're right next to me, but I need an airplane. Sometimes I think you want me to touch you. When you build the great wall around you.
Great wall.
You just look away in the distance. Funny how the cracks don't seem to show. You say we'll take a holiday. We never can agree on where to go. Sometimes I think you want me to touch you.
Wow.
I can feel the distance getting close.
Okay, so this is a song about a relationship falling apart. Tori's partner is right next to her, but he might as well be on the other side of the world. She says on the chorus that he's built the Great Wall around herself, so he's blocking her out. On the second verse, she says, "China decorates our table, funny how the cracks don't seem to show." It's this pristine porcelain, a symbol of their superficially beautiful domestic life. But on the inside, it's crumbling. Pretty straightforward. Track number 8 is Leather.
I'm standing naked before you. Don't you want more than my sex? Oh God, could it be the weather? If love isn't forever, hand me my leather. I could just pretend that you love me. The night would lose all sense of fear. Oh God, why am I here? It's not the weather. Hand me my leather.
Love the cabaret feeling.
I almost ran over an angel. He said you're alone here, so if you jump, you best jump far.
Wow. This is yet another song where Tori feels objectified and that her partner just wants one thing. She opens the song saying, "Look, I'm standing naked before you. Don't you want more than my sex?" And once again, she knows this isn't right. This isn't love. On the second verse, she says, "I could just pretend that you love me. The night would lose all sense of fear. But why do I need you to love me when you can't hold what I hold dear?" They're not compatible. They have different values, but she can fool herself. She can keep herself in the dark, just like the image of repression from Girl. On the third verse, she says, "I almost ran over an angel. He had a nice big fat cigar. In a sense," he said, "you're alone here, so if you jump, you best jump far." She almost runs over an angel. She's on the verge of destroying this holiness, the thing she's expected to aspire to. The cigar is this image of high roller masculinity and possibly phallic. And then when she, as he, says the words in a sense, it sounds like innocence. Again, the thing that's expected of her. Virginal purity and naivete. So the angel says, if you want to be that for someone, you've got a lot of work to do. So again, she's struggling to connect with men when they have this one specific idea of what she should be. Track number 9 is Mother.
Out of the nest it's time. Silkiest girl without a safety net. Tuck those ribbons under your helmet. Be a good soldier. Mother, the car is here. Somebody leave a light on. And when I dance for him, somebody leave a light on. And now I've forgotten how to dream my own dream. We told you all of our secrets, all but one. And don't you even try. The phone has been disconnected. Mother, the car is here. Somebody leave a light on.
That was just stunning. The time signature is interesting. Didn't sound like 4/4, couldn't quite place it. I'd be curious to hear what it was. But this is yet another song about her struggling to meet her expectations as a woman. She says on the first verse that she is a circus girl without a safety net, and that she's told to tuck those ribbons under your helmet, be a good soldier. She's in this dangerous, precarious position where if her performance slips, she's done, which probably means that she'll be rejected. She calls back to Winter on the pre-chorus when she talks about her pantyhose running in the cold. The act is slipping. Her modest, feminine attire is ripping in the harsh weather that her father tried to prepare her for on Winter. On the chorus, she says, when I dance for him, somebody leave the light on just in case I like the dancing. If she dances for this guy, puts on a show, maybe she'll be brought into the light and uplifted, and maybe she'll like it. So once again, she's considering convincing herself that she can be what people expect of her. Track number 10 is Tear in Your Hand.
So you say you don't wanna stay together anymore. If you need me, me and you'll be hanging out with the Dream King. I don't believe you're leaving 'cause me and Charles melt like the same ice cream. Maybe she's just pieces of me you never seen. Back is still shut and that tear in your hand. Dangling, dangling, dangling for me, darling. Tear in your hand. Baby, I still stay, please. Maybe it's time.
Okay, so Tori and this guy are breaking up, and she says, good, I'm free. This immediately brings to mind Happy Phantom, where the death here is the death of this relationship, and she is free to go and do what she wants without judgment. She says on the chorus, all the world is all I am, the black of the blackest ocean, and the tear in your hand, all the world is dangling for me. She's back in the dark like the girl from Girl, but she's free. She has the whole world available to her, dangling in front of her. She has the expanse of the ocean, and her partner just has a single tear. Track number 11 is Me and a Gun.
5 a.m. Friday morning, Thursday night, far from sleep. Me and a gun and a man on my back, and I sang, holy, holy, the things you think, times like these. Like I haven't seen Barbados, so I must get out of this. And I know what this means. Me and Jesus, a few years back. I don't think be back in 3 days' time. So you choose well. I haven't seen Barbados, so I must get out of there.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wasn't expecting a full a cappella track, but considering that this is one of the most vulnerable moments on the album, it totally makes sense. So the song is about rape, and she sets up the song as her being on the run all night from her assailant. She goes back in time and gives details of her thought process while experiencing this. So on the second verse, she says that she's never seen Barbados, so she has to survive. Just the little things that can keep someone going during an extremely traumatic situation. She says that she wore a slinky red dress and asks whether that means that she deserved it, the implied answer being no, of course not. The final track, track number 12, is the title track, Little Earthquakes.
Yellow bird flying, get shot in the wing, and I hate elevator music, the way I left here, these little earthquakes. We danced in graveyards with vampires till dawn, and I hate disintegration, watching us winner. Doesn't take much to rip us into
Wow. And that is how the album ends. The little earthquakes here are the minor conflicts in her relationships that add up to bigger problems. She gives us an image of this on the first verse when she says, I hate elevator music, the way we fight, the way I'm left here silent. Together, these mundane disagreements, these little earthquakes, make her feel silenced. And this leads her on the bridge to repeat the words, I can't reach you. She feels cut off from the other people in her life. Every fight she has feels like a part of this larger problem of not meeting expectations and as a result, being silenced. So we end the album with these struggles ongoing and these problems unresolved. Overall, I was extremely impressed by this album. Tori's vocal performance and lyrics were stunning. The production had nice variety, but still centered around this piano, which I absolutely love. In terms of standout tracks, my mind goes to Girl, Precious Things, and Winter, but there are so many awesome songs here. The only Tori Amos song I can recall listening to before this was Reindeer King, which is a song that I really like, but I didn't really dive into her discography. But I think those of you who recommended that I listen to her were so spot on that this would be in my wheelhouse. So thank you so much for this suggestion, and again, let me know in the comments down below what Tori Amos album I should react to next, and what other topics you'd like to see me cover on my channel. Check the description for that donation link. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and until next time, that's it.